What's up, guys? We are back with you, Pro Ripper. Kate Taddy will join us here shortly. Wicked Gatekeeper doing all that awesome work he does on the broadcast. This is your man Puddin up here in the booth. We just saw one heck of a race at Dover. Guys, we're at
Darlington.
Martinsville.
Darlington.
Darling, excuse me. Yes, two D's. I apologize. Yeah, Darlington. Now we're at Martinsville, guys. We do have a points update coming from K Taddy here. Just give him a couple minutes. But we're going from one technical track to a different technical track. But this one's a little bit different, Wicked.
Yes, yes, and how much of that aggression is going to carry over, as we've seen at the end of that last one? There was kind of some drivers getting fuming. So we'll see if that's going to make that little bump and run just that much harder, or if these guys are going to realize that they're on presets and kind of take it easy for a little bit.
We touched on it briefly. Again, at the Roval, people call them turtles here. I call it the candy cane. You don't want to hit those. It will upset your car. It will push you upside. Pro Ripper, how do you drive Martinsville?
Well, the way I drive Martinsville is I try to get at least 3/4 of my speed off the front stretch and back stretch to get as much speed as into the corner, and so I can get more speed coming out of the corner to actually be able to steady out my car and continue keeping a lead if I'm in the lead, or if I'm trying to go for the lead, I will get 3/4 of the way down the stretchways, and I will lightly tap on my brake, or I'll coast it to where I get halfway to the corner, or even a quarter of the way to the corner, and I'll gas it all the way through. That's the way I drive Martinsville.
Now, like we talked about it, again, touched on it at the Darlington broadcast. I like to back my corners up a little bit, get that long straightaway speed. But guys, Wicked, what do you think that these guys are going to do that are in the points championship, that are in the playoffs, not to get booted? Are they going to be more aggressive, or are they going to be more conservative driving this track? Because you can race it either way, but being in the points championship, knowing that cautions are going to be not relevant but possibly out there, how would you drive this if you were in a points championship, Wicked?
Oh yeah, that's so hard, and these restarts can really, they're going to get aggressive. Everybody's bunched up. You know that, if you can get under one row, you're sacking a couple positions at a time. Where later on in your run, you're not going to have them tires and be able to carry that speed. Um, so I think the aggression is going on the restarts is really going to be there, um,
Let's
especially with
talk
the
about
playoffs.
something else on a restart that most people don't talk about. Martinsville, the gear ratio on these cars is really tight. You have about 6 seconds from the time you're going to take the green flag till you'll be turning left in turn one, and within that time you'll already be in fourth gear. So not on, and it's so short of gears that the amount of time, like I, for example, just qualified with them, and I missed second gear in front of the pack and jumbled it all up, something like that on the restart, and you'll see 3-4 wide before you even get to turn one.
Something I do, especially here in Bristol, and that is a great valid point. I will automatically bang the third gear, run third gear out, and then hit fourth. But I will automatically go bang bang to get the third gear, to eliminate that wheel hop, to eliminate that tire spin, and get up to speed. That's a great point, Taddy. Wicked, what would you guys do?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever downshifted here. To be honest, I like to roll it through as as
Oh
high
yeah,
high
no.
rotation as I can. But yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
I've
so
ever.
I didn't mean necessarily a downshift. I was just talking about the initial getting up through gears on a restart. Somebody that likes to go through all four gears, unlike what Puddin was saying about kicking right into third. Don't take those yet. Um, if if you kick right into third, you're going to bog out a little bit. You'll have a little bit of a delay. At the same time, if you miss a gear and you redline for a few seconds, you're going to delay bad. So um,
Right, right.
Either way, you're going
it's
to
real
hold
tricky.
somebody up or miss something, though. It's just how your strategy pulls out. I'd rather
Yeah, I
delay
mean,
somebody on a third gear than missing a gear, because I think you miss more time or can hold everybody up more on a miss gear than you can just down upshifting quickly. That's my opinion, though.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, I agree completely. It's a tricky ball game because no matter what you do there, I mean, even if you're trying to go up through the gears, realistically, you're probably going to miss a couple. Um, and because of that, you're going to be jambled up the inside line or the outside line. And if you're on the outside, it's probably okay. But if you're on the inside, you're probably going to get bumped and put up into the guy on the outside of you, which causes our big issues. I've seen a lot of people at Martinsville, gateway tracks like that, that they actually run an automatic instead.
Oh, I never thought about that. Go ahead, Wicked.
No, yeah, that's what I was just trying to translate the, if you're riding in through third and coming out of turn two, you're still your car's going to be a lot snappier than in your normal run where you're in fourth gear at a little lower RPMs too. So
All right, guys, go ahead and accept.
that could
Sorry to
also
cut you
come
off.
into play.
And I think also there too something else. A lot of people bang through third, roll through first and second and third, and then they'll upshift. But if they get on that throttle too snappy, which you were just saying, that rear end could come out. And I think I cut off Pro Ripper, and I greatly apologize to him. Go ahead, Pro.
My thing is when I drive on Martinsville, I don't leave third gear. I stay in third gear because the way I drive, I don't hit that red line before I hit that corner. And if I do hit the red line before I hit that corner, I'll let off my gas just for a quick 2 seconds, and I'll get right back on it so that my needle is off the red, and I'm able to go right back on the gas without blowing my motor.
I was just going to say, before you define that, I feel sorry for your tachometer as many times as that needle is going to bump off. But thanks for your explanation there. But yeah, I feel sorry for that tach if you do that. But everybody's driving styles are different. If you don't roll, you can roll into it. Some people go for the full throttle, some people don't. We're going to jump right into this
Here at
race,
the race.
guys.
New
Yeah,
race, same two contenders, Jake and Pendle battling 1-2, Team Noco with number 86 Fat Patch driving in hard into 3 and 4 in that 86 Chevrolet.
we got Trey right back
Bob
there,
in the
third
21 is
car
already
already.
going around coming off 4. Sorry about that. Sorry to cut you off.
No, no, you're right. I was just going to say, Trey right back there in third, and then I saw that car loop around just because of my camera angle, so I apologize for that there, K-Daddy.
These two, Jake and Pendle, they've run side by side, nose to tail, half the season, if not more, in these two Noco Chevrolets. Which one is going to be dominant tonight? There's just no telling, but I know that both of these guys want to win entering round 2 of the playoffs.
We talked about this and we touched on it. There is two lines here. But that second lane on the outside, not always the fastest. As I'm following with Fat Patch. Fat Patch drives it in a little bit deep, touches the back of Jackson Strong in that 99. Fat Patch, he's great on 1.5 2-mile tracks. He's fantabulous on road courses. As much as he denies it, I've raced with him, and he's super good on short track, so it's great to see Fat Patch up here. But again, we see Woodruff making that pass. Woodruff gets up on that candy cane, as I call it, puts his Fat Patch wide. Here comes the 91 on the inside of him.
I was actually riding along with Fat Patch as well, and Woodruff went in there hard, got below him, and moved Fat Patch. But I did see Fat Patch earlier in the run move the 93. We talked about this at Darlington. There's guys in this race that are in the playoffs, and there's guys that are not in the playoffs. Fat Patch is following one playoff driver in the 9. How are you going to enter the corner compared to these guys? This is stuff we look for here at Giggity on driver's perspective. If he keeps getting into these drivers, which he's running hard stand
Oh,
respectively here,
Fat
but
Patch hits the wall as you say that. Go ahead, so I
yeah,
apologize.
the more contact you make with these drivers that are in the playoffs, the less and less your stock goes up as far as moving up and making it into a Cup Series or so next season. But there with a Cards fan in front of him, he seemed to run pretty clean. So it might have just been a restart incident that we'd seen earlier, but Woodruff did not appreciate it as he's trying to advance in the playoffs here.
I agree. I greatly agree with that. Yes, you do not want to upset the playoff drivers, but at the same time, they're there for a reason. So you want to be able to prove yourself. You're in Xfinity for a reason. You want to prove that you can be next year. I know Fat Patch jumped in a little late in the season, fell back in the points because of that. But at the same time, you got to respect these guys, give them their room, but at the same time, race them hard. But the thing is, what's the thing? Clean. Use that broom. Use that mop. Race him clean. Pass him like that. Prove that you can do it that way too. But Fat Patch, great guy, great racer. Little incident. We're going to move on from it, guys.
So you were talking about me bringing in the guys on who's on the bubble here. As we enter this race with 10:25, car 10 is 10th in points in that 9 car. Followed in front of him is Edco with 10:30. So those two, Cartran and Edco, need to have a good run. They need to collect these stage points. They need to do what they need to do to advance. The guys on the bubble in front of them, you have Trey with 10:34, only 4 points ahead of Ed though. And then you have Robbie, 10:36. Even though he entered the night fourth in points with those playoff points that he had, he's in danger and sitting seventh and on the bubble here with 10:36, 6 points ahead of the cutoff line.
Anything can happen here at this tricky little short track, and every point will count. As we see Fat Patch getting passed by that 22, and I believe that is Ed, though. Ed's a great guy. Had the opportunity to race with the SR here in for a couple of weeks. Him and Roof are both fantastic people. Ed wants to keep his chances alive. Guys, you got to do anything you can, but still keep your name in the clear at this track, and that's hard to do because we've seen it in real life too. Retaliation is a not fun, let's just rephrase it like that, not fun situation.
Real quick, talking about how desperate and how much these guys, how serious this is to these guys, that this is the playoff back. MP Roofer entered this playoff, just barely made it in last week as he passed the Bob to take that 10th spot. He has put over 2,000 laps at both of these tracks since our Christmas break.
Yeah, I was going to say something about
everything he can to make sure that he doesn't remain on the bubble and he advances into round 2 of the playoffs.
I was going to say something about that. I saw that in a message earlier. He said he's going to come join you guys in a fun race. He just got done with 500 lap tire test, plus he went back to Martinsville and he did it too. This man's put in the work and he's putting in the effort. He wants to keep his name alive in the points championship. I don't care who you are. That is dedication. That is a lot of laps to be turned, guys. As we see everybody starting to thin out. Still no caution here at the legendary Martinsville short track, home of the red hot dog, as we all know.
Guys, on pit lane right now, the 22 of Edville, lagged out.
Oh, no.
So his playoff contending season has come to an abrupt end here at Martinsville.
Not because of talent, but because of technology. That is so unfortunate. That Ed, though, man, if you're listening and you're watching, I'm sorry to hear that for you, man.
And Jake is our leader still, I believe, right?
Yes.
Still clicking through the field, guys, but a lot of cars with no damage, which is surprising.
As Jake is coming up to the lead as being the leader, he's also coming up to lap traffic. So this is going to be the death of him, or it could be the savior of him. It could be either one. Let's see how he does with this lap traffic.
You know, at any point in time, a spontaneous caution can come out. It can come out at the wrong time for the right people or the right time for the wrong people. It doesn't matter how you say it, So, well, we've yet to see that. A lot of clean cars right now. These guys are being a little conservative, it looks like, and that.
Sorry to cut you off, but the 21 has lagged out.
Lag out. Bob is out of the race. Yeah, I just noticed that as you did there, Pro Ripper.
Bob, another one of our good contenders here in the Xfinity series.
Now, luckily for him, he is not a playoff driver, so he does luck out on that fact. However, you hate to see that happening. It's a good top 5 car there at Darlington, looking for a good run here at Martinsville.
Thanks to Mike Williams out there again. We all know him as Money Mike. I call him the hitchhiker. He's once again putting that big old hashtag out there. Everybody in YouTube Giggity land, hashtag do it for a Trout. Thanks again, Mike.
Yeah, on that note, real quick again, while we're in stage 1 here, Adam Troutman, A Trout as we call him here, the Giggity Racing League driver of the 47-37, one of those 2 cars in the Cup Series for Team Noco. He had a severe car accident December 27th over the holidays. Prayers for you, bud. Do it for 8 Trout. Lost 1 leg, fighting to keep the other. Busted gallbladder, ruptured gallbladder, and a broken arm. Everybody here at Giggity, man, we're praying for you. Again, to those that are watching, we posted the link on the Facebook Giggity Racing League page. Please get on there, even if you can't donate. I'm not begging for your money, but even if you can't, at least share. Let the word be out there. The man's looking for upwards of $50,000 in medical costs. He and his family are in a tough spot right now. Again, this is right after the holidays. Any little bit of help, we're praying for you, Trout. And again, you guys will hear that again by the end of this broadcast.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yep. my prayers to A-Trout and his family. That's very tragic to hear. And it's always good to help someone out that's in need. It's not to take the words out of the Bible, but that's to be a good Samaritan and help someone out for a good cause. It's just like helping children with bad diseases. It's it's a tragic moment for him. It's a tragic moment for the family, and even if they're in a hard tough spot, it's very hard to get out of that out of between that rock and that soft place. It's
Yeah, real quick,
very hard.
Team
Michael,
Noco, his
yep.
drivers have already donated over $100, and not just him. I know that a few of our other drivers throughout the league have gotten on there and donated. So this goes to that fact that even though we are nothing but a racing league on PS4, that's what most people look at us as. But all of the drivers in this league look at it as we are family.
That is completely and utterly amazing. We've heard over the last couple of weeks of people needing help in any shape, form, or way. Giggity Racing has always showed up to help our brethren, and let's not forget this time. Let's help another one of our guys out, guys. Hey, Trout, again, you're in our thoughts and our prayers, Mr. and Mrs. Puddin, everybody up in their booths. We are thinking about you. Hope you can tune in a little bit later and catch up on what you missed on, and hear that we are thinking about you, buddy.
Yeah, well, all this said, right? So I don't know how much anybody on this broadcast team or anybody watching knows about me and Trout. I've actually started a catchphrase. When in doubt, blame Trout. My car and Trout's car seems to always be connected. We make contact almost every time we're on the track. The two of us on the track do not like each other probably whatsoever. However, as soon as that checker flag drops and we're going back to these chats, Trout and I, we go back to the end of season one. He's been with Giggity a really long time. I respect the heck out of you, man, and again, prayers your way. On that note, let's get back to the racing. We'll get back to Trout here towards the end of the race.
Just saw that number that number 3, that black and blue car, the EMS first responders car, little man right there. He got loose and just lost quite a few positions, but getting to it, Woodard free behind Trey in that cool looking purple 73, guys. Just
Pinky
wanted to
Puddin's here
reiterate
for
that.
the 79. Can't even get his numbers correct because he's focused so hard on the pinky part of it. But Trey is doing a great job, and he showed Thursday in this Martinsville Racing Customs that Trey really likes and enjoys this track.
Trey being one of our captains next year, picked up a guy we saw in one of the development races, Tackleberry, one of my good friends too. Again, I don't know if you guys know, I run a little thing on Wednesday nights. We have formally called it the Giggity Racing Farm League. Tackleberry coming from that. Trey picked him up after that big win at, I believe it was Kansas or Chicagoland. I think it was Chicagoland.
Not to cut
But
you off, Robbie Roofer and D. Smith 3 wide back here. It looks like Roofer gets the best of it as he entered third out of those three. D. Smith holds off Robbie Vids. Robbie Vids trying to get back. Looks like he's a little bit tight and having a hard time as Pendle gets around him. Looks like to put him a lap down. Or Jake's our leader, so Robbie's continuing to fall and struggling here. Go ahead and continue, Puddin.
oh no, that was great commentary. I was just going to jump in right after that. But yes, again, our Australian buddy back there having a little struggles. Let's see if he can keep enough points to stay in this playoff championship. I talked to him a little bit earlier today. Robbie was super excited about tonight. He didn't like the tracks, but he liked his chances at staying in the points championship. Wants to prove himself. Came out with a Giggity development win last night after he was out scouting people at a 3 times Dover track, which was pretty difficult. So we know Robbie's got the talent, and he knows he was keeping his eye out for keen talent. I don't know if that's a caution or a
I'm
I
going to
statement.
say
believe that is
That
the
is
end
the
of
end of the
I believe
stage.
that is the end of stage one.
Yeah, as cars were passing the start finish line, they were slowing down, and the other cars were still at speed. So yeah, definitely an end of the stage. Wicked will give us a rundown here
You got,
shortly.
yeah, Jake in first, Pendle second, Bad for You third, Trey Woodruff, Matt BW, Jackson Strong, MP Roofer, D Smith, and Robbie Vids running out the top 10. And it looks like Jake not pitting. There's only 7 left on the lead lap.
Yeah, so Jake actually talked to me earlier. Mentioned with this 3 times wear that not only can you make it to the end of the stage, but you can go about 40 laps into stage 2. So everybody that he lapped or is choosing to pit here, he's trying to take the advantage and try to stay P1 as we
How
know
many
at a
people
track
are going
like.
to know that, Taddy?
Well, now everybody does that. I just said that if it's the same team. But you know,
Thanks, Patty.
any little advantage you can get, you know what I mean? Like quick caution comes out here, then Jake takes the pit stop and trapped all those people a lap down that have pit here recently.
All right, guys, we're going to rack them and stack them. I like to hear K Teddy say it. I do say it quite a bit. Bad view right behind him. Martinsville, tough track to get through 1 and 2 wide, let alone 3 and 4. Let's see how much they can spread each other out. This is an opportunity for the guys in the back who are on fresh tires, and I think we're under caution already, guys.
I believe we're under caution.
So, let me go back to what I just said about Jake being able to stay out and not pit. There, what that does is now when all the other lead cars pit, the guys that were lapped down our track.
Yes.
This is going to give one person the lucky dog, but somebody else is going to choose to stay out now that had just recently pitted. So when Jake pits, he should only fall probably 7th, 8th, maybe 9th place.
Not to cut you off, Teddy, but Cards fan 225 was caught up against the wall. That's
Oof.
what brought out the caution, I believe.
Awesome to see these guys too. You can take that cheap way around and do what everybody calls the quote-unquote a wall ride around here, you know, or well, I can't say the other name for it. So it's awesome to see these guys racing, not trying to gain an advantage by doing that. We got them once again, racked and stacked. Jake out front, bad for you. Trey, and I can't see the car behind bad for you, but we're going racing at Martinsville, guys.
That is no pit Pendle.
No Pit Pendle changing his paint scheme on me. Yeah. Absolutely love to see new paint schemes every race, especially when I do get to be able to commentate the cup races, but you got to be careful. Some of those guys, they'll throw you a little bit of a curveball, so sorry for that, guys. Everybody makes it through turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're coming back around. Jake's starting to pull away. Bad for you racing. Trey right behind him. Guys, this is so awesome. We're going Xfinity Racing, Martinsville, points championship on the line. 2 people at the end of tonight's first Darlington/Martinsville race will get boots. So everybody's got a lot on the line here. Unfortunately, one of the captains for next year, Etta, looked like he did get lag out. That might be the end of his night, like what Kate Taddy was saying earlier. Things aren't over yet, so he's just holding back, watching the race, seeing how everybody's going to place out. But everybody else out there wants to give these points leaders a respect, but they want to also prove themselves too. Jake's still up here in a good lead. Trey took the inside of Bad For You, pulls back in, thinks they're better of it. Bad For You says, I'm going to try to come for you, Jake. Jake took a week off, was under the weather, says, hey guys, I know you didn't forget about me. I'm still up here, proving why he's our points leader right now. We got a lot of good racing here in the Xfinity at Martinsville. A little bit of wall rubbing on the straightaway by Jake. No harm, no foul for him. Game's off the wall. Pulls it back down. Sucks back down. Hits his line. Pulls right down that back stretch. Jake's looking good, guys.
Hey guys, after stage 1, I have a quick points update. Now keep in mind, with Edo out of the race, there was 2 drivers in the top 10 not in the playoffs. The 2 drivers that were in the playoffs that did not receive any stage points were Edo, who was lagged out unfortunately, and the guy that needed to make the points, Cardstand. So he has actually put himself in a bigger hole as he now has again 10.25, and the closest to him is Robbie with 10.37. So he is 12 points behind Robbie to make that 8th and final playoff spot entering next week.
Robbie Fidz is one of these very methodical guys, though. He will be strong. If he can make it past this round of the points, Robbie is very good at certain tracks. This is one of his patience tracks. He's sitting back, making sure he's going to be where he needs to be at the end of the night. But Robbie Fidz looking real good running by himself.
Guys, I do want to update real quickly. Adam Troutman is actually online on Facebook right now. I have been speaking to him this whole trip.
That's
So
awesome.
he does know everything that we've been doing for him, and he's very appreciative, and he wants to make sure that everybody knows. Thank you to the Giggity Racing.
Yeah, sure.
It's awesome to hear from you,
love
Trout.
you, Trout. Well, thoughts and prayers with you, buddy.
Tell Trout that he has his prayers from Ripper. Please and thank you.
Absolutely. He just logged off as I'm speaking that, of course. I did tell him, so maybe he'll tune in and watch. Hey, I don't know if you know this or not, Wicked, but that live feed of your lineups is really, really small for some reason this time on the screen.
Okay. I didn't.
I don't know
It
what's
went
going on
haywire
with
on
it.
me and like.
Yeah, I didn't see it in that
I
first
shrunk
race,
it.
but I got you. Okay,
Hey,
I was
it's
just
all
making
right.
sure.
We still appreciate everything you do. Everything you do from the broadcast aspect. Ripper, Grim is just, excuse me, Wicked is awesome. Thank you for you do. We know technical difficulties do happen.
Hey guys, so if you're in the playoffs right now, right? Like I said, Cards fan is 12 points behind Robbie. Now they don't know that unless they're watching the broadcast, but they have to know that Ed goes out, and they have to know how they've done tonight in relation. What I mean by that, I know when I'm in the playoffs, I'm not necessarily paying attention where I'm finishing, but I'm paying attention where the guys that I'm competing against are finishing. So if you're in the playoffs now, knowing like if you're Robbie Gibbs and you know you got a 12-point advantage, are you running as hard as you did on lap one, or are you kind of just taking it easy right now and protecting those 12 points? Let's
Yeah,
start with you, Wicked.
I think I think if it were me and I realized what was happening, I definitely go into just protect mode and not push for anything unnecessarily. Just make passes, capitalizing on others' mistakes. Don't force nothing here, and throw it all the way.
Yeah, let's take that question. I'm going to take this one to you, Puddin. I know that neither you nor Pro Ripper have been in a playoff here with Giggity recently, so I don't know how familiar you are with it. But what's your mindset going into a playoff race when it looks like you're in the clear, like all these guys seem to be?
You can't think that you're in the clear. You always have to assume that you are below that cut line. You have to assume that every position and every point is going to matter. Unfortunately, again, I've raced in real life. I've been in this multiple points championship. It doesn't matter who you're racing with. Race your race, not the racetrack. Race the racetrack, not the racer. Excuse me. Keep smooth. Be there at the end, and make sure that all you can do is focus on you and you alone, because if you focus too much on the points and who's behind you and who's in front of you, you'll overdrive or underdrive either way, and it can come back to bite you.
So I don't want to disagree with you, but I disagree with you 100%. So what I've heard, sorry to put it like that, but so I'm paying
That
attention.
makes sense. That sounds like a Pinky Pudding comment.
Yeah, I mean, so like my mindset, this is season one Cup Series champ. That was me. Season two, I was runner up to Noco in the Custom Cup Series. I pay a lot of attention. I've made it real far in these playoffs, and my personal mindset is if I'm thinking I'm even close to being clear. If I'm right on the cutoff line, I'm for sure watching every position I need. But if I know, even if it's only 1 point to the good, and I have a car right on my tail, I might let that guy go and just follow him instead of letting him move me out of the way. I'd rather be the guy that's controlling my destiny. As I say that,
Sometimes
we
you
have
don't
like
have a
Trey.
you don't. Sometimes you don't. I don't mean to cut you off, but sometimes you don't have a crew chief to tell you that.
Well, but I mean, all these guys know. I mean, if you're watching the end of the stages, like all these guys do, okay, I entered with 6 points over this guy. That guy finished 2 points ahead of me. I have a 4 point cushion. You know what I mean? Like that, they should be keeping track of that. Like right now, for example, Trey's got Matt BW all over his tail end. Matt BW is not in the playoffs trying to finish well. Matt BW overdrives one corner and gets into Trey. Trey goes into the wall, gets heavy damage, could be in trouble. Whereas all Trey has to do in retaliation here, just lift, maybe let Matt BW go and follow him around. Let Matt make the mistake and get back around him. Or on the last lap, if I need that point, I want to be the guy that gets to say, okay, I need to pass you. Let me use my bumper and go get me that point. As I say that, Matt BW gets into the tail end of Trey right there, driving into the corner too hard. You know what I mean? Stuff like this. Out of Trey's hand, he's relying on Matt BW to be the guy to say, hey, he's a playoff guy. Let him run. But it doesn't always work like that. I like putting destiny in my own hands.
Putting your destiny in your hands is a great thing, because the only person at the end of the night that you can blame is yourself.
100%.
I agree with that statement. It's just on how, you got optimist and I can't say the other word right now.
We have
Antagonist.
Ricky Bobby out there, a.k.a. Ryan Morgan said, if you ain't first, you're last.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yes, there you go. Right, RKM. Yeah. Oh, we're watching that blue and black 3 MES mobile of Little Man back here as I'm following him. Hits the wall hard, spins, stays low. Again, neutral respect. Nobody too far in front of him, not too far behind him. Maintains his line, and I think he just took it straight to the hauler, guys.
Hey guys, two big things. Yeah, so Little Man is definitely in the hauler, but look at that car parked in front of him on pit lane. 12-point advantage for Robbie over Cardfan, and Robbie is sitting on pit lane right now.
That's very unfortunate and very uncharacteristic of him. We might have seen Robbie make some mistakes in the past, but we've never actually seen him have a technology issue. He's
So here's the deal, though. He's not necessarily eliminated because of that. Again, 12 points to the good. Edzo was
right.
a different story. He needed to make up points. Robbie has that little cushion. He is depending on Cardsfan to A, not get stage point 2 and stage 2, and B, if Cardsfan finishes 10th or just outside that top 10, he's not going to make up enough points. So Robbie Bids is watching this leaderboard very closely
And it
right
looks
now.
like that's the end of stage 2.
As we have Jake in first, no pit Pendle, followed by Matt BW, Trey, Woodruff, rounding out the top 5.
And going back to what you were saying about playoffs, K Teddy, and not and what your thoughts about playoffs. With me not being able to see be in a playoff race in Giggity, my eyesight would be, don't think you're in a playoff. Don't think you're in playoffs. Think you're still fighting for a playoff spot, but make sure that you have the mindset that you're in the regular season and not in the playoffs. Because if you're in the regular season, your mindset is, okay, calm down and wait for someone to make a mistake and then move on it. Because if someone makes a mistake, like even on this track, if someone makes a mistake, like say if Jake was to make a mistake, someone who is on the lead lap can overtake that mistake that Jake will make or could make, and would capitalize on that and be able to take a win over him or take a spot over him. It's just the same thing as, again, I'm going to take Teddy's words, putting destiny in your own hands. You always got to make sure you're in a good spot, a good position, and you got to make sure you have the right mindset in the playoffs so you don't screw up.
I agree with that a lot there. You just got to be careful. You got to be methodical. This is still a long race to go. It's a short track, but at the same time, it is long to go. But not at the same time. These guys are clicking off 15-second lap times. How many can you do in a minute? As we see a car spin back there in the background, as I'm trying to click back there to see who spun out.
Jackson Strong.
And another
guys.
thing is
Hey.
put in.
Real quick,
Oh,
on
sorry.
the points update after stage 2, Cardsfan finished 8th in the stage, which gives him 3 points. That means entering stage 3, he is trailing by 9, as well as, with that said, we know where Robbie finished. Robbie finished 13th. He lagged out, Little Man lagged out in front of him. He cannot gain any more positions. He cannot lose any more positions. With that said, not to make up 9 points, that looks like, as long as Jackson finishes in the top 4, or not Jackson, as Cardsfan, if he finishes in the top 4, Robbie will go home. If Cardsfan finishes 5th, they will tie. Robbie advances via playoff points. So Cardsfan is aiming for a top 4 finish here at Martinsville.
So you definitely know he's got that hammer pedal down, got the old loud pedal to the floorboard right there. He's going to drive his way to the front. He's not going to wreck everybody doing it. But Cardsman is a great, smart driver, and if he's paying attention to that feed, Kate Taddy's update, just let him know exactly where he is and exactly what he has to do. So is that more pressure or less pressure as we see Jake starting to pull away a little bit down the front straightaway?
I mean, is it more or less pressure? So, stage 1, he finished outside the top 10. Stage 2, he only got 8th. He is yet to have been spotted in the top 5, let alone 4th or 3rd. So as far as this pressure, if I'm Cardsfan right now, I'm forgetting about how my car is driving and I'm thinking strategy. How am I going to use pit stops to my advantage? How am I going to use cautions to my advantage? Something he has done to this point via just the outright speed of his car is yet to get him in that top 5, and he needs to be there.
Very valid point. Let's see how he plays it off, man. Jake's still up here, but looking strong. I see Woodruff up there. Look, he's looking good. He's got some points. But look who's lurking in second. That
No pit
Old
Pendle.
Yep, no pit. I was just going to say, he took advantage of gaining a lot of points. What Teddy was talking about last week during the custom races, he took more than advantage. He got a lot of points that week, and he's stalking Jake right here going into the corner for this Martinsville Xfinity Giggity race. So no pit penalty says I'm here to stay.
So again, we talked about this earlier. I don't know how many people are watching the broadcast that are racing or listening to it in the background and none of that. The only two people in question right now, and one of them is out of the race with Robbie Vids. I don't know if he's going to tune in and try to check this out or what, but Cartman, he's the one in question right now. All the other drivers out there, the other 7 that are still remaining, they know they're going to advance as they have more points than Robbie does. So if Cartman does advance, he's knocking out Robbie. So points reset after this week. You go back to your playoff points. Everybody's going to be within that same bubble margin that they started tonight out with. So are you relaxing? If it's me, I'm trying not to make any more enemies that I don't have to. But at the same time, what do you do here? Are you going to allow somebody like Cardstan to get up through you? Who do you want to see in the next round? Do you want to see Cardstan or do you want to see Robbie? You can kind of, if you're sitting on that bubble right now, you can kind of handpick who you want to see. Cardstan entered with no playoff points, still has none. Robbie would have a 3-point advantage if he's the guy that gets by you in advance. So I mean, there's a lot of playing with the field here, you might say, that the rest of the field could try to do on who advances and who doesn't.
I'm going to pull this out of the woodwork. This might be a little bit of a joke, but some guy that we've only mentioned a few times tonight, but you said relaxing, old Jackson Strong. Relaxing Jackson. I don't think he's relaxing. He's going to push too. Plus, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're in the points contingency or not. Everybody wants the best finish they can get to, guys. So, but I think I'm going to dub him that for tonight. Or relaxing Jackson ain't so relaxing. He's going to have to try to push his way up there too. He got himself. Oh, Woodruff spun around. Fat Patch gets into him, coming off the turn. Heavy damage.
Michael Williams here, actually, that's a good call. So there's a lot of Team Noco drivers out there tonight. And Team Noco, Robbie, although he's starting his own team at Sheen Motorsports next season, he is a Team Noco. Team Noco does not want to let Card Fan get that position to be able to advance. They want to make sure their own driver of Robbie Vids is. They have the most opportunities at that championship as possible.
And as you're just talking about that, putting Jackson Strong, I don't know if he was in the pits. I'm not sure if he is, and he's still in the pits. He must have lagged out.
Oh no, unfortunate for them too. Not good for some of these guys, Wicked.
Some of these guys might just not like the track and have decided, you know what, Edo, when he lagged out, that pre-roll was a shoe-in. Now that Robbie's lagged out, Jackson, he's a contender, but he might not like the track. He might have been getting roughed up. He might have just said, you know what, I'm going to park it and live and fight another day.
Yeah, let fate fall in its own hands. Eto, unfortunately, we know he would not have bailed out on any circumstance whatsoever. He would have fought it tooth and nail to the end. So that's very unfortunate for Eto. Might have gave a couple of these guys some breathing room, but we've still got quite a few drivers in this points contingency to stay in the playoffs. Trying to stay in there, to get kicked tonight. Like I said, to get Das Boot, and I don't want to hear that, and I apologize for saying it, but I think that's I know that's what's going to happen tonight. So a lot of these guys probably didn't want to see Darlington or Martinsville back to back for going into the playoffs either.
One other thing that this does for Robbie and for our Cards fan, with Jackson Strong being in pit lane, he was a top 5 car. You take a top 5 car out of it, that's a top 5 car that Cards fan could potentially get ahead of and or beat and get into that top 5 and eliminate Robbie.
We got Little Man out there. Little Man, and he lagged out a little bit earlier, but again, still running that EMS paint scheme. Thanks for your first responder paint scheme. He says, go Woodruff. We got another guy out there, one of our own up in the booth. Shouldn't say this, but he's being a little biased, though. Shadow Grim says, go Robbie, too. So thanks for everybody out there in YouTube land, man. We still got a lot of racing.
In fairness to Shadow, when he's in the booth, he's not so biased, but right now he's not in the booth. He's just a spectator, just like everybody else watching. Shadow Grim is going to Shin Motorsports next season, so if he wasn't rooting on for Robbie, he might get fired. So good seeing you out there supporting your next season's captain there, Shadow Grim.
Awesome to see everybody out there. And again, since we're supporting everybody, I know Kate Teddy brought it up earlier again. There's a
Yeah.
hashtag. Let's get it going, guys. Let's get this
Stage
hashtag
3.
going. At
Stage
do it
3 here at
for A
Martinsville,
Trout.
guys. Hashtag do it for A Trout. I know we've talked about it a lot, and I'm going to go over it one more time. This might be the final time. We might bring it up in post-race interviews. But guys, Adam Troutman, A Trout, the driver of the 37 Cup car for Team NOCO, he's fighting right now in the hospital. He lost one leg, fighting to try to keep the other. Doctors are doing everything they can, having specialists come in. It looks like it's just his foot, but probably when an amputation happens from just the foot, they usually cut just below the knee, so they can give you a whole new leg with ankle support. Ruptured bladder, broken arm. The guy was in a car accident December 27th. He's $50,000 worth of medical bills, guys. He's struggling. He's got a GoFundMe on Facebook. We shared it. We tweeted it. We put it on our Facebook page. Guys, even if you can't help donate some money, that's fine. We're not asking necessarily for your money. We're asking for your time and effort of just simply share the page. So if you can't donate, maybe the guy that you share it to can.
Money
Again,
Mike, Michael Williams says he's got the hashtag do it for Trout. Shadowgram, do it for Trout. Ryan Morgan out there, do it for Trout. A lot of support out there for you, A Trout. A lot of people.
And Trout, I don't know if you're watching or what, bud, but just know, man, we all feel, dude. I don't know how many we've been talking about it in the captain's chat alone. Every one of us wants to fly out and go see you right now, man. We know what you're going through is hard. If you need to chat, if you just need some time, do what you got to do, man. Best speedy recovery. We're here for you when you get back, and we can't wait to race with you. Also, on that note, A Trout might be one of, if not the absolute best in-car view camera drivers we have. When I say that, I hate that he drives that way because that might be why we hit each other so much. But Trout, we love you, bud, and we're looking forward to seeing you back here shortly.
Yes, sir.
Ryan Morgan, RKM, says link the GoFundMe to our Twitter account at Giggity. Guys, we're still under green here at Martinsville. We still got a lot of racing to do. The points championship is going to come down to 8 after tonight, man. Pro Ripper, Wicked, Taddy. We always do it. At least I always try to. If you got one to sink, who do you want to move on? Who is it?
Well, and just not to cut anybody off, but actually Pendle has gotten around Jake about 4 or 5 laps ago.
Yeah, so Pendle is our leader right now.
And Cards Fan has made an early stop, so we'll see how that strategy plays out.
We talked about that, the strategy perspective of it. He might be in the fuel window right now, and he says, well, I'm going to pit any cautions barring from here on out. He doesn't want to see him. He's going to want to see it go green from now to the end because he was the first one to pit. However, if the caution does come out, that might get him his lap back to maybe be able to get the freshest tires while everyone else is deciding to pit and lose spots or stay out.
Fat Patch backs it into pit lane. Fat Patch, sorry to cut you off, Taddy. I don't know. Yeah, he locked it up a little bit. Fat Patch definitely pulled the cold trickle there and backed it in the pit lane. Had to let the EA take over. That's going to cost him some time.
We are down to 20 to go, so we're well within the window.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just come to find out, too, A Trout is in, Charleston, South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
I'm only 2 hours from there. That's where I spent my holidays. With permission from him and his family, I might have to jump down there. It's not that far from me, just to meet the man, the myth, the legend himself, shake his hand, and let him give him some well wishes. But I'm not far from him. That's awesome. Well, it's not awesome that he's there, but it's awesome that he is in South Carolina. Let me rephrase that. Guys, we got a lot of good racing going on up here. Green flag pit strategies are pulling out. Fat Patch is pulling back out of the pits. Let's see how this pit strategy works out for everybody. But man, I'm interested to not only see who wins this race because of who's been contending up front, but I'm interested to see the top 8 afterwards there, Cape Daddy.
Yeah, so Cards Fan right now, he's in a tight struggle here. Pendle being your leader, Cards Fan's trying to get by him and Roofer, but there's nowhere for him to go with that side-by-side racing. He has the freshest tires, so he's probably one of the fastest cars on the track, but he can't make anything of it with these hard corners and the hard braking that everybody's doing in front of him as he gets by Roofer, but Roofer's looking to cross him over right here. So this early pit stop that Cards Fan had might not pan out for him. Again, guys, watching, anybody viewing, The stress for who's going to make it and who's not in the playoffs, Robbie Vids and Edtho both lagged out. Edtho has been eliminated. Robbie Vids finished 13th. In order for Cards fan to come back and advance in the playoffs, he must finish 4th place or better in order to advance. Right now, he's sitting outside of those positions.
Yeah, definitely. Robbie is he's sitting there. Go ahead.
I was just going to say our top 5: Pendle, Jake Guru, Bad For You, D. Smith, and Trey.
Trey with the top 5. Like we were saying, man, Trey really likes this track. I don't know what it is about it. I've never really thought of Trey to be somebody good with the brakes. Just kidding with you, bud. But this track is really, really brake heavy. Maybe it's because it's a slower track. You're not going 200 miles an hour. Maybe that's why Trey's succeeding. I'm not sure. Again, I'm just messing with you, bud. Good to see you in the top 5 here.
And he is a past champion here in Giggity, is he not?
Yes, he is the only past champion in this race and racing for this championship this season. However, he is not a past champion in Xfinity. He is a Truck Series champion from last season.
I do think Jake has lagged out. That could change.
Whoa. So, Pendle is in the lead. This seems insignificant as he entered the playoffs in the top 3 in points already. However, the significance is a race win gives you 3 more playoff points, which puts him 3 points ahead of everyone else behind him when he enters into the next round or gains 3 points on Jake. The significance on top of all of this, week 3 of the playoffs, only 3 drivers will advance and make it to the final race of the season. That is based on points. And then at that final race, the best finishing driver of those 3 will be crowned your Season 3 Xfinity preset champion. So these 3 points can go a long way to getting you into that final race if you're no pit Pendle right now, as he goes down pit lane. If I have the tires to do it and I'm Pendle and I had the lead, I'm taking a splash and go and getting back on that track and trying to win this race. RKM, speaking Canadian, said Jake is in the EAL. Oh, apparently he meant wall. That about suits it, eh?
Once again, everybody loves it what they hear in Giggity. We can always give each other a hard time, but a good time at the same time. We are at Martinsville. We are Xfinity Racing. We are Points Championship Racing. We are going into playoffs, guys. There's a lot of new issues that were brought up due to some lag and other unfortunate circumstances. But guys, this is shaping up to be looking real good.
Yeah, friends and family, that's what Giggity's all about. RKM. Yeah, back to this racing, we're winding down. What are we, probably 8, 9 laps to go, if not less than that. And who's in the lead now, Wicked? Did Pendle recover the lead?
I'm not. I'm trying to find another, see if anybody else was
Oh,
streaming.
yeah.
Because when I
Jake
lost,
was your stream.
yeah, Jake was our leaderboard, so we kind of.
Well, thanks a lot, Jake. You done messed up our whole broadcast. He's another one of those Canucks. Of course, he's not on Team Canuck.
Let's see. Yeah, there you go.
Trey has his broadcast up. D. Smith is currently our leader with no pit Pendle. Trey is in 3rd. Bad For You in 4th. Woodruff in 5th. With 8 laps remaining when they cross the line, minus there is a little delay usually. So they might be, I'm not so sure where Trey is on the track. Let me try to find him. He's coming to 7 to go right this very moment. So, yeah.
There's 2 things I'm extremely excited to see what the outcome is. Teddy, didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. I want to see who wins this race on strategy with the pits right now. We got, like you said, 8, 7 to go. So we've got less than 2 minutes to go in this race. But I want to see how this championship rolls out. Robbie Vince, one of my good buddies and owners, was trying to message me about looking forward to next year for numbers. Robbie, if you're paying attention, you got to wait just a couple minutes, buddy. We got some important stuff on, and you're involved in it. You should be paying attention, too.
Guys, D. Smith is coming to 3 to go.
And that's awesome to see D. Smith because unfortunately we know in the past we've all given his
Apologies. He's coming to 2 to go right now. As he
we
exits 4 right here, he's coming to 2 to go.
we've
That
all
was the
seen
back
D.
stretch.
Smith have some issues in the past with technology and lag. We all give him a little bit of a lag name, but guess what? D. Smith's trying to show why he deserves to be here, which we all know why. He is a
He
great
lagged out
driver.
of Darlington as we
Mm-hmm.
speak about that. D. Smith, he's been struggling. He lagged out of Darlington. Now keep in mind though, he is on old tires. 2 to
And
go.
Pendle is
Pendle
there.
is on fresh
Pendle, yep,
tires.
yep. No
Coming
pit
on the
pedal.
backstretch, headed to the white flag. No pit. Pendle takes the lead.
A lot of respect for D. Smith right there. I was falling on board with him. He pulled down, know that he didn't exactly have the car, gets a little loose, comes off turn 3, hits the wall, going down the
I think he's
straightaway.
out of
Let's
gas.
no pit pedal, yeah. But that was a lot of respect for D. Smith right there, and it's great to see him make it to the end of the
That was the
finish.
race. It looks like Pendle is not under power, so that must have been the race. So Pendle actually passed D. Smith on the last lap. Looks like is where D. Smith ran out of fuel. Guys, on that note, I'm going to leave it up to you to get the interviews done. I have to get offline. Apologies. So
You
if you
can't
guys
hang
would,
out with us for 5 more minutes. It's because my name's Pinky Puddin'. Are you racist against Pinky Puddin'?
I'm not racist against it. I just don't like it. So let's see. I have invited D. Smith, or I'm suggesting these drivers right now. D. Smith, I've suggested Edtho, who lagged out unfortunately. I'm going to try to get Jackson.
Michael Williams just in on the chat right there. He said Robbie Zen. He did the math, so that's our buddy Money Mike over there, the hitchhiker himself, Robbie Zen. He says. Let's see how it actually tallies up though. But was he keeping that accurate of stats?
Yeah, he's 100% correct. Pretty easy stats there. As like I said, Jackson needed a top 4 finish. He did not get a top 4 finish, so he has been eliminated. So, real quick, the guys I'm suggesting, we got D. Smith, Edtho, who's been eliminated. Jake for winning Darlington. No Pit Pendle for winning Martinsville just barely. I sent Jackson, who's been eliminated, an invite, and Robbie for just barely advancing. So those are the guys if you want to talk to them, or some of them, however you want to do it. Uh,
We'll
on that
just play
note,
it. Yeah, we'll play it by ear. K Taddy, thanks for joining us tonight. I know you got to get running. It sounds like
yeah,
second time in the booth with you. Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. And our commander in chief, you're the man.
yeah, absolutely. So again, guys, oh, so the stream is over. Oh, that was Trey's stream. Sorry. So on that note, if you guys want to get these interviews done, like I said, Jackson and Edtho are out, and Robbie advances, and then we got your race winners. And on that note, guys, I'm out. So continue on. Good job.
Thank you guys.
Thanks
All
for
right.
joining
Real
us.
quick,
So,
I'll let you guys take it real quick. I got a question for each of the guys who just joined, but I'll let you guys have at it. Go ahead.
um, so, um, okay. Um, so Jake, I got a question for you, Jake.
Okay, what's up?
So, how was what was your strategy going into Darlington?
Uh, well, there really wasn't no strategy at all. It was just run as hard as I could. There was a point in stage one where I tried saving fuel, but a caution came out and took that plan away. So it was just basically run hard, run smooth, and stay off that wall. I may have clipped it a couple times, but that's about
Well,
it.
While we were talking, it seemed that you were using that that white dotted line a lot at Darlington. And before the race started, I was talking about like if you hit that dotted line, you could. There's 2 ways your car can go. It could either do good with it, or it can make you spin. And you were
Yeah, it was
and
good.
that white line was good to you, and you were using that as your advantage to keep the lead. And I
Yeah.
congratulate you on that. Good job.
Thank you, thank you. It really paid off in turn four. If I could just ride that, like you said, the dotted line on the bottom, I think my car handled the best down there. I tried the high side in three and four a couple of times. Still had a good run, but I didn't have as good as a bite on the bottom in three and four than at the top. So the bottom was the preferred
It
line
really
for
helps
me.
with McCoffin
It
though.
was good.
Said it really helps with McCoffin though. But yeah. So who else? Ravi. Um, give us your insights on the Darlington race.
Yeah, the Darlington race was a really tough race. It was tight racing, always is when you're there. Jake, he looked strong all night. We had Habab, he was running up there as well. Pendle, he was struggling a little bit, but that was due to some connection problems, I do believe. It did get a little bit rough towards the end, however, but it was a good race. It was a good race.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
I got a real quick question for you, Australian Robbie. This is Puddin talking. Buddy, you had a good race at Darlington. I know you personally. I kind of picked up on what you're doing, settling in, but making sure you're conservative. But at Martinsville, we've seen something that we've never seen from you before, a lag issue. You were on the outside looking in there, possibly. You were sitting there waiting to see how everybody else was going to finish. What were you doing, and what were your nerves like saying how everybody else was going to finish to make sure you could still be in next week's playoff races?
It weren't actually a lag issue. I actually had to back out the race. I received a phone call from my daughter's mum. I thought it was
Well,
a
that's respect.
emergency.
That's a lot of respect.
It was emergency. I'm hoping I didn't wreck anybody doing it, and it turned out everything's okay. And I've heard that I'm still actually in the playoffs, and dude,
Yes.
I'm like, woo! So happy. I was like, I'm out. I'm like, I was really, really gutted. I was not impressed at all, but I'm really, really glad. So
First and foremost, again, if everybody doesn't know Robbie, we all know him. That right there just shows what kind of a respect has, and what kind of person he is. His family comes first. He said, "My family comes first. Whatever happens, happens." Robbie, you're still in, and I can't wait to see what happens there, buddy. Congratulations, and I'm glad everything's all right with your
thank you,
daughter, and
thank
that's
you.
the most important thing, especially with all the unfortunate tragedies we've been having here lately in Giggity, which is not good. But
Yeah.
Robbie, you're my homeboy. I appreciate it. You got to say it. Say it one time, and we're moving on.
Playing some NASCAR, drinking some beer.
There we go, buddy. Coming from the world famous Australian Robbie, I'm going to get a message for that again. I keep saying it, but congratulations for being locked in, and you're the man, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Great race, Robbie.
Good job, Ravi.
Thank you. I just want to say, Pendle, Jake, D. Smith, decent driving tonight. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's good to see Team NOCO sat in the interview booth and awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Hell yeah, we're all moving on. Woo!
Yep.
I will say it was kind of crappy to see Team Noco have a bunch of engine failures tonight. You know, we had one from the old weight, D. Smith at Darlington, and then myself, first engine failure of the season, so that's not good to see that in the playoffs. And Robbie, what a car at Martinsville. Awesome
I got a
race.
quick question, real quick. Pitt, you're always fast.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you.
You're always fast. But D. Smith, unfortunately, we know that sometimes technology comes up and bites you in the rear with your lag issues. How
yeah.
good did it feel to be able to make that entire Martinsville race and finish as well as you did and lead some laps?
If it wasn't for that invisible spike for the wall bangers on the wall when I let somebody by, I would have had the win. That slowed me down about 6-7 seconds there. But yeah, either way, it feels good. I was half a lap short because Pendle started making me have to push it there at the end. But either way, I'm glad we got the win. I'm real happy for second after lagging out the first race.
Yeah, again, like I said, unfortunately, technology comes to bite you in the rear sometimes, and you are a very consistent driver. It was awesome to see you do well. And No Pit Pendle up there, he just said no holds barred tonight. With Jake not feeling so well last week, took advantage of the points, but Jake came back with a vengeance tonight, and No Pit Pendle still gave him a great. Jake gave him. He still gave him a great run. So.
It was good. It was good fun. Good
All of
fun
you
for
guys,
sure.
man, all of you guys, congratulations. You made it fun for us up here in the booth. Smith, great to see that technology didn't get you a pit. Great racing. And Jake, well, we all know how you do, buddy. It's all right.
Hey,
Yeah.
tell
You're
you
okay.
what,
Welcome
You're
back.
okay in my book. You're okay in my book.
we
I'll
were
leave
gonna
it
make
to the other
it.
guys.
We saved 10 laps of fuel on that last run before I blew it up.
No, don't get on the bed.
Well, I was gonna make it. And then like you said, connection issues blew the motor up, and we're done. So at least we're moving on to the next round. Pendle had a great car too. I'm glad that Team Noco got the victory.
Got
The sweep. Yeah, we basically swept the whole night tonight. Pendle didn't take advantage of my sickness this time.
I definitely
I made him
picked
work
up on
for it tonight.
I feel like there's a common theme going on, and that's the word NOCO.
Well, it's a team. We're team initiative. But when we get closer to knowing who the final four, it gets harder to start sharing your notes. So if you know that you're going to fight a certain guy and he's on your team, I'm not sure if I want to share all my secrets. So this last race, if we all make it in, that'll be awesome. I don't expect
Well, a great
the team to work
magician
together.
a great magician never reveals their secrets again. I've already talked too much. I'm going to leave
right.
it up to Pro
always
Wicked.
hungry.
Pro Ripper and Wicked. Congratulations to all of you. Great racing.
Sure.
2 difficult tracks, back-to-back weeks. I can't wait to see what happens next weekend, man. Congratulations, Flint Puddin'. Good job,
Cheers.
guys.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Jake. Jake, nice run in Arlington. I know you were. I watched you there for a while, and you really showed some patience. I know you took you to think 3 or 4 laps to get around bad for you one time, and yeah, it was just
I
a
think I
nice.
was out front the whole time. I think that was Darlington you're thinking of.
Yeah. Oh, Darlington. I mean, yes.
Yeah, Darlington. Yeah.
I know you were really being patient there, trying not to force an unseen mistake, and I just applaud you on smooth and calm.
Yeah, I saw him get loose a lot off of turn 4, so I knew if I were going to try to pass, turn 4 was where I was going to have to do it. And you can't just pass on the exit of the turn. You kind of have to wait till you're on the straightaway, and you kind of have to try to get that momentum to pass him. And it was really tough, but
Which one?
that was his
What
weak
game?
spot, so that's how I was able to
Huh?
take advantage of that. He
Buddy,
had a good
I still
car.
owe Buddy
Pendle
a
had a good
laptop.
car. I'm glad we're
Ask him
all
on it.
moving on. So, I'm going to get out of here. It's
Hey,
good
Trenton
race.
I still owe Trenton a laptop because I had to
Enjoy, buddy.
get offline because I was
Have a good
lagging and
night,
wrecking.
guys. Cheers.
Trenton still could have had a little bit of
Congratulations.
laptop.
Thanks.
And Pendle, what was question for you about Martinsville? What was going on through your head that last 10 lap push, knowing D Smith was way out front?
Well,
We could-
I knew D was trying to save. I could tell by we kept asking him how if he's gonna make it. He said, "Oh no, I'm gonna try." But I wasn't gonna make it. I was pushing. This before Jake lagged out and he let me go. I was pushing as hard as I could to get as far as I could. So that way, if I had caution come out or we had to pit or something, I'd have a little bit of an advantage. And I pitted, got just enough fuel to make it. Took 2 tires, and I come out like 7 seconds behind D Smith, and I knew he was saving, so I was catching him. And then, I would have been fine finishing second to D Smith. He works hard, man. He's a good driver, and he deserves a win. Especially dropping down here Xfinity Series, he's been pretty quick as well. Just lag issues, and I was just
definitely a strong runner.
yeah, very. And then I was catching him on that last lap, and I told him, I said, "Man, I don't want to give you the bump and run, but if I get to you, I'm gonna give you the bump and run."
And we were
sputtering coming out of 2.
And then he started sputtering coming out of 2, and he said, "Oh, I'm sputtering," so I took it to the outside and passed him, and another week or another race, I take advantage of Jake's struggles, I guess.
Well,
His
hey.
more misfortunes.
Yeah.
Well done, dude. Well
gotta,
done.
Gotta take them where you can grab them, right?
Yeah, and then Darlington, man, I had a good fast car there too. I just, apparently I was lagging between Darlington and Martinsville. I took my PlayStation in the back bedroom and hardwired it up. I didn't have no lag issues at Martinsville, but I want to apologize to all the guys that's watching this that raced tonight that I caused issues with them lagging tonight. And I really hate for you guys, especially the ones that lost points. But I had a good car at Darlington too. I just kept when it wasn't lag issues, I was getting caught up in wrecks. So
Yes, tough track.
yep. A lot different than me winning Thursday night, man. My car just felt a lot different tonight, and it was harder to control on the long runs.
Congrats, and that's going to give you some much-needed playoff points headed into next week. And
yep, and that's what I wanted to. I was glad. I'm glad I got me some playoff points because it's hard enough to keep up with Jake as it is, and with him taking all the stages and all the playoff points, every little bit helps.
There you go. There you go.
Are you calling him a bank thief, stealing all the good stuff?
Just a little bit. Just we are teammates. So there's kind of a little bit of rivalry. He kind of makes me push harder when we're racing. He causes me to push harder while I race, and sometimes
that's what
good,
teammates do,
bad.
man. That's what you guys are supposed to do, and you proved it, though.
Mm-hmm. Team NOCO, we got a lot of fast guys. Wicked's one of them. Robbie, D. Smith, we're all fast, and we all respect each other. And I don't race Cup, but I've raced with Wicked a couple times, and I know he's fast as well. And NOCO's building a solid group of drivers over there, and I hope he's watching this. We'll be watching this broadcast here in a little bit, and he sees that we got the sweep. I hope it makes him happy. I'm sure it will. But
yes, we got
had fun tonight.
We got our own little family within a family, and then bring it back up one more time. We got our buddy A Trout dealing with some hard times right now. And,
yes. Yeah, that hits harder too because he's on Team NOCO, and I hate to hear that, man, of what he's going through, and I hope he gets speedy recovery. Prayers for him, and wish him the best of luck. And we're going to do everything we can to bring that title home for him in all 3 series.
And he was joining in tonight, so he heard all the good well wishes, thoughts, prayers, and all the donations that everybody's doing for him. So thank you, A-Trail, for paying attention, even though we know what you're going through with your excruciating pain and everything, man. So thank you for what you paying attention. Team Giggity, not just Team NOCO or Team RJ or Team Shan or anybody, but it's Team Giggity. We're all here for you, and buddy, we're thinking of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, we do. Prayers that he heals fast and quickly, and everything goes well for him.
And D. Smith, what were you? Were you getting nervous there before you ran out of fuel?
Hey guys, real quick, I don't mean to intrude. Puddin's gonna jump off real quick. Just got a text. Gotta go take care of something. So I apologize for ducking out early. Congratulations to all of our points finishers, our winners, our podium tonight. Again, Mr. and Mrs. Puddin will be in A-Trout. You're in our prayers. Sorry, I got to bounce out. Pro, Wicked, great to have you guys in the booth. Congratulations to everybody else.
You too.
I got to duck off just for a couple minutes. It's not super emergency, but it's urgent enough. Let me put it that way. So,
all right, Puddin. We're always happy to have you in the booth. Congratulations for joining us, and thank you for participating.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. And as always, my famous Sam off. Y'all be safe.
Yep.
Well, we all love Puddin.
Yeah, D.
We always love
last 10 laps. Were you shaking? We were watching from up here in the booth, and we can definitely see, Pendle had them fresher tires, and he was coming.
If it wasn't for the spike in the wall for wall bangers, I wouldn't have had to push it those last few laps because he was coming. I probably would have made it then. But, wall bangers ruin everything.
Well, it was a great showing, and great for you to get a good finish. And yeah, I thought you for sure had it. I know, and I still think you would have if it wouldn't have been for that empty fuel cell. You had the gap to hold it off.
Yeah, and then hitting that spike and turning me, it damaged the car a good bit actually. I think I was running 86 on the radiator, and aero was even worse than that. Those last 15 laps, that probably cut back on the fuel saving too. So
good deal. Congrats.
I did what I could, but half a lap short.
Yeah, and we'll move on to next week, huh? Re-rack them.
Where are we at next week? You guys know?
I think Daytona and Pocono is next week.
Oh man, that's going to be a tough one too. Well, not Daytona. Pocono, I used to be really good at on Heat 3, so I'm going to have to practice at Pocono. So we all know what Pocono or Daytona is all about. So 50 psi and as much tape as you can put on it without overheating.
Right. And anything can happen out there. So
Exactly.
no,
But
definitely.
yeah, D. Smith, man, I was glad to see you up front, man. I really was, and it sucks for you. I mean, it sucks for you, and I hate to say it, but I'm glad you ran out of fuel. but but we got the win nevertheless. We swept. That's all that matters. And we'll go on next week. And I'm gonna get off here, guys. I gotta eat dinner. I ain't ate dinner yet. I already jumped on the game and race. So when we eat dinner, I'll talk at you. Wicked, thanks for Wicked and Ripper. Thank you. Appreciate it for you guys doing the booth. I'm gonna rewatch the stream
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll see how we did. And we'll talk at y'all next week.
Yes.
And D. Smith, I'll talk at you later, brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And again, you guys can always check them out next Saturday. They are uh, where are you guys racing next Saturday?
Daytona and Pocono.
So they're racing Daytona and Pocono, two big tracks. Um, in my eyes, I feel like they're both restrictor plate tracks because Pocono is the type of track that I would rather draft off of bumper to bumper than I would try to gain spots. So in my eyes, I would say that's a restrictor plate track. But
We'll get spots up plenty.
those are two big tracks. Again, you can catch them again next Saturday at 7 o'clock, I believe. They're gonna be doing Pocono and Daytona next Saturday. Again, there's me and Wicked and Put and doing the commentating and broadcast tonight. We love everything that Wicked does for the broadcast. We love your brother. You do the best for us. You're the best broadcaster I've ever seen, and I congratulate you on this, buddy.
I appreciate that, and yeah, we'll definitely be ready to go. Hopefully, we can finish off the rest of the playoffs with the guys, and yeah, again,
Where y'all at tomorrow with it?
Gateway and Vegas, I believe. You guys
Okay.
can tune in and join and watch the Cup Series as the big boys take on them two tracks in our round of 12. So that was, it's going to be exciting. Get the playoffs here. The aggression level's going to be up a little bit. Um, D. Smith, go out there, man, knock 'em dead.
Oh yes.
And Pro, yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining us. And Puddin', shout out
Yep.
to you, buddy. Thanks for coming and helping. Even K-Tag.
And
So
this is Giggity Racing League. I believe we're going off now, right?
yes, sir. We're signing off. Thank you.
This is Giggity Racing League saying goodbye and check us out tomorrow.